Alright, so this is going to be part 4 to what if Deku was a Hunter Guardian. So with that being said, I gotta say a few things. One being, we just reached 4,000 subscribers. The last time I checked, we had exactly 4,000, but that will change depending when this comes out. So I was planning on doing something special, and that was, what if Nafumi was a spear hero? And I'm pretty far behind on that. So I have like around 1.5 pages done for the script, and usually for those videos I do like 3 pages. So yeah, it's gonna be a while until I do that video, as well as doing, what was it, part 4, I think it was part 4 to what if Nafumi was a sword hero. I'm also gonna do that. I got like a page done on that. So yeah, I'm gonna do those videos pretty soon. I just gotta finish the script and edit the stuff, and yeah. So with that being said, I have one last thing. I did say in another video that I was gonna start doing like reading short stories as an example. Something like creepypastas would be considered short stories and things like that. So if you have any recommendations of things I could read on this channel, since a lot of people do like, I don't know, the sound of my voice for some reason, from the comments I've seen, I might start doing this kind of stuff. So if you have any recommendations, you can tell me down in the comments down below. And yeah, so with that being said, let's get into the actual story. So in the last part, we just got done with the USG attack. This would result in Shigaraki and the League of Villains getting captured and getting sent to the high security prison that All for One went to. So we would basically, this would take place on the first day back when they get to school, and Aizawa would inform the class that there's going to be a sports festival, and this sports festival basically gives the students the best opportunity to show off their skills so that they could go and get an internship with a hero or hero agency, so that they could get some better opportunities in the future. So he tells the class to really try their best because he wants them to get into a good internship, because people who don't don't get the best internship oftentimes regret what they got. So he's really pushing the students to do that. So that's what Deku kind of does. So Deku, he takes this week to really hone his skills, mostly with his abilities as well as his weapons. So instead of going to the moon this time, he actually goes to Mars. So he knows that there's been plans of going to Mars to terraform it like the moon, but they haven't done that yet. And he goes to Mars because this is the last kind of spot that basically the Hive's at, because since Deku basically cleared them off the moon, they go to the nearest kind of place, which is Mars. So that's where they're kind of set up. So that's where he goes to train. He goes to Mars using the same ship that he had before, and this is where he would train a lot of his different abilities. So mostly with Gunslinger and Night Stalker, I believe. So with Night Stalker, he actually learns how to use the 3 shots. I forgot exactly what the upgrade is called, but you know what I mean. As well with his golden gun, he's actually learns how to shoot 6 times instead of the standard 3, because in Destiny 2 you're able to have 6 shots for one of the augments for the super. So that's why he kind of learns. He learns that he's able to, or he trains himself during this kind of week to be able to shoot 6 shots instead of the standard 3. As well as him just, what he's basically doing is just clearing Mars. He's clearing Mars for the rest of humanity when they decide to basically terraform the planet, because they haven't done it yet, but they're pretty close to doing so. Okay, so after that kind of week, he would come back to Earth. So he's not staying on Mars the entire time for this week. He basically goes to Mars for some time, comes back and does this over and over. So in this time, Deku's mother does know that he's a guardian. He would have told her some of the details, not really the part where he died to resurrect. He wouldn't put that in just not to scare her, but he would tell her things about the ghost and the traveler and things like that, so she knows that he goes to this planet, so that she doesn't get worried. Not knowing where he's at. So during the week or after the week, he comes back to school, and it's the week of the sports festival. So Deku would be the one who does the speech for the sports festival. But before that, they're in that kind of changing room where all the students are at. And Bakugo, he would have done the same. I think he would have come up to Deku first before Todoroki, because I think in this one he would have been more angry at him, more furious, you could say, just on the fact that to him Deku was quirkless, and to see that he has a quirk, well, that kind of pushes his kind of insecurities up a bit, because if you see in the anime, he thought that Deku looked down upon him, and that's why he never told him his quirk, making him kind of dumb. And he still thinks this, but at a higher degree. So this makes him more confrontational, and actually goes up to Deku, telling him that you're not even gonna get in the top 10. He's gonna eliminate him. He's gonna lose, before even making it to the finals, right? And Deku's like, no, I'm here to win. I've been working so hard just for this point. So Deku's ghost is not with him, because, well, he's in his uniform, right? His PE uniform. So it would have stayed in the lockers, kind of just staying there. So it goes pretty much normal, right? So Deku would have basically done the speech, like I said, and his speech would have went similar to how it would have been really inspiring, because of the time that they're living in, the golden age, talking about how everyone there has so much potential, that humanity has so much potential, that they're gonna go beyond the stars, plus ultra, all those kind of things, right? Because of their time, the time that they're living in. So the arena would have been more kind of advanced, due to the numerous amount of scientific advancements due to the traveler. So there would have been everything would have been more stronger, right? The structure of the kind of stadium itself. So that's kind of one of the big points. So after that's the kind of speech is done, he goes to basically do what he goes to do the race, right? And this is where Midnight would basically start off the countdown so that they could actually start the race. Since there's a lot of people there trying to go through one kind of opening, they get crowded and a lot of people get stuck. Class 1A doesn't, because they've been training pretty much just as hard as everyone, and they're actually able to jump over most of them. At least most of the Class 1A does that, especially Deku, since he has triple jump as of yet. He has a big advantage there, as well as Hunters being the fastest in general. This gives him also a big advantage, so that's what he kind of does. He would keep up with fast people like Ida and Todoroki, and as well as Bakugo. I think he'd be a little bit faster than the three of them, just with his guardian kind of powers and his general basic stats. So that's what he's doing at this point. He's just running towards to the finish line. For the kind of obstacles that are in the way, like the giant robots, he really wouldn't need to fight them as much. But again, like Todoroki would have done, they're kind of doing this to show off, so he would have done something similar. He would have done the golden gun just to make it fast as he's running, just shoot basically 3 shots into the 0-pointer, and then the other remaining shots to the other robots that are there to basically bring them down, and then continue running. By the time he gets to the landmines, it is a little bit harder for him to get through this point. So what he does is that he jumps as high as he can, or he kind of uses his blade dancer. And for those who understand what I'm saying at this point, are those who basically play Destiny, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So as he's jumping, he also swings his dagger that the blade dancer has, and as he's doing this brings him forward and forward and forward and forward, just how you see in the game mechanics. So he lunges forward every time he swings, and he uses this to basically dash in the air. So if you ever play Destiny, you'll understand what I'm talking about, where if you're in the air, you just hit with your blade dancer and you go forward. And this is what he's basically doing to get to the other side, trying to only step on a few spots at a time so that he doesn't trigger any landmines. Eventually he does get past everyone, since it would have been easier for someone like Deku than someone like Todoroki or even Bakugo, because they're constantly fighting with each other because they're so close, yet Deku is a lot further ahead, so there's no one really trying to fight him. He gets first place with Todoroki in second and Bakugo in third. Ida actually does fail, not getting that close to them, because he would have hit the landmines just how he does in the anime. So yeah, so we get to the next part, and this is the cavalry battle. So it would have been the same teams as before, because no one really wants to go with Deku, especially since he has the highest points, so he's going to be targeted the most. He would have the same team, that being Uraraka, Tokiyami, and Mine, or Mei. I believe it's Mei Hatsume. But anyways, that's what he has. And Deku, what he would do is similar to what he would do in canon, which is basically run around to try to avoid everyone, but Bakugo would be there to try to get him. Again, the same thing would happen in the anime, then where Monoma would come in to basically tag him or take his headband away. So the only one really after Deku at this point would be Todoroki, and Todoroki would use his eyes to try to capture him because he doesn't use his fire just yet, and Deku would have to run away from this just how he does in canon. But in this one he also uses something special, and that is the quiver. He does the triple shot all around him so that they can basically get blinded, as well as being weakened and slowed. So Deku basically does this for a bit, but it doesn't last too long. Remember, the quiver doesn't last forever. It only lasts maybe 10 seconds at the most. So he's really spacing these shots out. He does one, and then after that, after it's done, he refreshes the kind of debuff by shooting another arrow. So he does this. He shoots the 3 arrows, and then he's kind of done with it, and he has to wait until he charges. So he's wasted a couple, half of the time already just doing that. And this is also around the time where Bakugo would have beaten Monoma and gotten his things back, or his headband. And we're gonna say that Todoroki actually tries to go for Deku, get his headband, using Ida's reciprocal burst to do so. And we're gonna say that it actually does work. Ida uses a reciprocal burst, and Deku wasn't expecting this, and he takes his headband. But at the same time, Tokiyami takes Todoroki's headband, and this secures Deku's third place, or it secures him being in the top finals. So yeah, that's basically what happens. So this is the part that kind of differs. As they're about to get to the next point, this is where this kind of green, almost gas-like substance forms around the top of the kind of arena, and then it kind of opens up, similar to the gateway that Kuriguri uses. But instead of being purple, it's green, and what comes out are ships, And Deku has seen these ships before, and these are the hive ships that you see in game. And as people are super confused, like, what is this? And then they realize it's some sort of villain attack. At least that's what they think. And then when these creatures come out, they've never seen this before. They're not human. They don't know what they are. They have 3 eyes. I believe that's how much they have. And then they have these weird guns that shoot some sort of colored energy, that being purple mostly, and some arc, but not really solar too much. So they see this and they don't know what's going on. So all the kind of heroes that are there come to fight. And even Deku sees what's happening, and he's surprised that the hive would even come to the sports festival. But at the same time, this is where everyone, pretty much all across the world, are watching this, because if you remember what they said in the anime, that the sports festival is pretty much as popular or more popular than even the Olympics. And keep in mind that all the kind of other sports festivals, like the different grades, so first, second, and then third years, all are happening at once. So this is where they would sound the alarms, and then this is where the other kind of heroes that are at the different events would come to fight the threats. So the hive would start shooting and messing up the place. Deku would see, he would get ready to fight. He doesn't have his ghost, but that doesn't really matter just yet. He goes, and there's this big kind of knight captain, if you know what I'm talking about. I believe it was called Knight. He has this giant kind of sword, and he goes for Cementos. And Cemento pushes up a wall to kind of block the attack. But the knight just cuts through it like if it was nothing. Deku's there, and he takes out... He doesn't have his weapons on him because, the sports festival, he's not able to use it. So he has to rely on his abilities. So he throws a grenade, and this is going to be, I would say, a arc pulse grenade. I don't remember if hunters had that or not. Or even a flux grenade, I believe it was called, I believe it was arc bolt. I don't remember, but it shoots out a bolt of lightning that goes and directly hits the captain, who would have had an arc shield, and this kind of blows up on him and kind of staggers him back. After that, Deku would have taken out a knife, because that's really what that's kind of like a standard melee that's generated from your light. So he would have been able to use that to basically kill the knight, who would have just basically disintegrated into nothingness. After that, he tries to tell everyone that these are hive, and these are enemies of the traveler. This is what he says out loud. And everyone's like, what? How does this kid know? But they have no time to question this, and they go and attack. At this point, they would have stopped filming this event, or actually they would have continued, but at a safer distance, so farther away, and they would not be able to hear Deku say this. So All Might gets in and starts destroying most of the hive, because even though he's not a guardian, he's still a lot stronger than most of these. This is where a wizard would come, and she would basically fill the room with smoke, damaging people, and shooting her blasts of, I believe it was solar energy or arc, I'm not sure. But basically, that's what she would do. She would keep on shooting, and Deku would see this and use his golden gun to shoot the wizard, because it's solar energy, one-shotting her and going to the next and next and next, since he has 6 shots. And eventually, this kind of thing goes down, and they retreat, with the ships taking a lot of damage on the way, and even blowing one ship up. So they have this kind of ship parts, and all of it's getting confiscated and being sent somewhere. So at the same time as this happening, with this kind of confusion happening with aliens attacking, this is where the League of Villains actually escape from prison. And you might be asking, how do they do that? The way that they do that is through One for All, or I mean All for One. He uses his kind of teleportation quirk that he uses in, I believe, the season 3, where he basically takes him from being captured by All Might and the other heroes. He basically uses that again, but earlier than in canon, obviously. So they're basically out of prison, and he basically tells Shigaraki something. He says to basically say hello to his new associate, and this is a hive higher up, and this is actually Crota. So Crota is the son of Oryx, which is the creator of the hives, or something to that degree. So this is Crota, and he tells him to basically say hello to him, and that he has a special offer for him. And this is where he reveals a worm. So for those who aren't particularly interested, or even that know what I'm talking about, the hive have this specific kind of worm in them, given by a worm god, that basically makes them stronger as long as they keep on killing people. And the more people they kill, they get stronger. But also that hunger that the worm gives them gets stronger and stronger. And that's why in the Dreadnought in Destiny 1, you see all those worms. That's basically what they are. So that's what they offer Shigaraki. So before Shigaraki says anything, I'm going to let you guys decide whether or not Shigaraki should take the worm or not. So we'll leave that off there. So let's go and jump back to another person who would have been seeing this broadcast, and that would have been David Shield. So like I said in the other parts, David Shield is not as interested as helping out, or I believe he said he was more content with his All Might's kind of stages and things like that, because of the Traveler. And seeing this, the Traveler and David Shield would start preparing things. David Shield starts preparing a system of protecting the Earth, some sort of AI, and this is where the war mines actually come in. So in this point, David Shield is preparing the war mine Rasputin, just how in Destiny, right? The war mine Rasputin. I'm not sure if I should keep it the name Rasputin, because it's not Russian, it's Japan, or it's not Russia, it's Japan. So if you have an idea for the name of the war mine, you guys can tell me down below. So yeah, at the same time, the Traveler knows what's happening, so he seeks out more people to basically help with this. And one person that he does, like I said before, is David Shield. David Shield becomes the speaker of the Traveler, because David Shield's one of the more intelligent scientists on Earth, just by the things he's seen that he's done, like the quirk enhancement kind of machine that he had. And so what the kind of Ghost is going for different, basically he's going for different heroes that died in the past. So if you have any ideas for heroes that should be resurrected that have died in the past, then you guys can tell me down below. But one particular person that the Traveler does bring back is, I believe it was Nana. Basically the previous user of One for All. She is brought back, and I would say that she'd be a Titan, but you guys can tell me down below what class you want her to be. I don't want her to be a hunter because it doesn't really fit her, her design at least. But yeah, so after this, All Might would have taken Deku to basically a private kind of area with all the different teachers, right, including the principal. And they want to ask him how he knew that they were enemies of the Traveler. And Deku would be like, he would have told him, right? He would have said, I am a warrior of the Traveler called a Guardian. I could prove it to you, but you need to come to my locker room to see my ghost. And they're like, ghost? What do you mean? Like a spiritual ghost? And he's like, no, like a kind of machine thing that basically resurrected me when I died on the from the sludge villain. And this is where All Might brings back the memories of seeing the kid, and he asks him like, "You died?" And Deku says yes for a moment, and All Might just looks so disappointed in himself, because if the Traveler didn't resurrect this kid, he would have died. And he just says, sorry I couldn't save you. He's genuinely remorseful for this. He regrets that he couldn't do much more, and Deku just says it's alright, you can't save everyone. So eventually they go to the locker room and they get the ghost, and the ghost basically tells Deku that more people are being chosen to be guardians, and they even have a speaker now. And the ghost doesn't know exactly who it is, but he knows the general idea, or the general place where he's at. So I'm gonna end it here. In the next part we'll go over the stain, and then after that the heroes versus I guess we could go over the teachers versus villains, as well as the movie. So yeah, like I said before, we're at 4,000, which is a very, very big milestone. So I hope you guys continue supporting me in the future. If you made it to the end of this video, please comment down CS so I know that you support the channel. And if you like this video, please give it a like so I know that you want more of this series. If you want more of my content, please subscribe. And with that being said, this is going to be in the video. So yeah.